Hi guys. So I shared on my Instagram story last night. I don't know when I'm gonna be posting this, but it wasn't long ago, about this stethoscope. Think Labs. It's an amplified digital stethoscope. So I got this because I have moderate to severe hearing loss, and it's conductive hearing loss, and mine is because I was born with no middle ear bones. And I know it's random, and I don't know why. I just forgot to give them to me. You need the middle ear bones. Like the sound transmits through there's three inner ear bones, if I'm remembering correctly, and the sound kind of bounces. So you need the middle ear bone, and I don't have them. So I wear hearing aids, and I wanted to make this video because I have been struggling with finding a system that works well with the stethoscope. It's not the stethoscope itself that's a problem. Like, this is an amazing piece of equipment. I have doctors, when they find out that I have this, that are like blown away, and they want to just try it because even with good hearing, they want to try it because things just sound so different and incredible. And it's more that I'm having with my hearing loss. I'm trying to figure out what works well with it. So I asked my viewers what do they think I end up picking, and that's what I'm going to talk about. And if you are thinking about going to school and you have hearing loss, I would just recommend, like, don't give up and make sure you do a trial and error. If something doesn't work, it's not the end all, because that's what I would get discouraged. Like, I thought about quitting so many times because I kept thinking this isn't working. It's just never gonna work. But somehow I just kept going by, and here I am. I'm gonna be going into fourth semester soon. So let's go over some of these options. When I bought the stethoscope, I googled best headphones on the market, and it was between Bose and what's that other company? Beats or something. Can't think of it. So there was like a debate online, right? It was like researching for hours. It turns out that, in my opinion at the time, from what I was reading, these seemed to be the better ones. And they were $500. I think they ended up being $550, which is fucking crazy, right? Like, I've never spent that much money on headphones. So here, let me just show you this. Like, see this? There's like a gap in there. They're so big. My tiny head. Anyway, I just remember being in one of the first few weeks of school, we were doing vitals on each other, like in class. This is like before any clinical. And I had these headphones on, and they were like falling off my head. And because they were moving, they were squealing. How do you hear anything when you have all these distractions? Like, I was already stressed about trying to learn this new skill, yet then I have this problem with the headphones not even fitting properly, and then I was already worried about looking different and people knowing that I had hearing loss because I was wearing these massive headphones, right? So I had so much anxiety. Imagine, like, you're already nervous as a student. Like, I just had, like, my heart rate. I remember, like, somebody did my heart rate when we were checking vitals, and mine was like 140. My teacher was like, this is where you would ask your patient if they have heart issues. So this one didn't work for me, and then I was like, well, I can't get new ones because they were so expensive, and I was like, I'll have to make them work. And then I started Googling and like watching YouTube videos of other people that had the ThinkLab stethoscope, and I found a nurse that used the stethoscope through Bluetooth with her hearing aids, and I was like, oh, that's perfect, because she didn't have to wear headphones, which for me, with like, I have a history of being bullied for my hearing loss as a kid, and I think it's still like ingrained in me as an adult, and I just hated the idea of wearing these big headphones. So I like love this Bluetooth option. She wore like a Bluetooth transmitter around her neck, and it connected to the hearing aids and the stethoscope. So I called my audiologist, and I was like, I want to do this, and she tells me that I can't because my hearing aids don't have the option to connect with the transmitter. So I was mad because 3 months prior to this, I actually just got new hearing aids, which was amazing for me because mine were 10 years old, and you should be replacing your hearing aids in like 5 to 7 years, 5 to 6 ideally. So like, it was just crazy that mine were that old. I guess you just get used to what you think is normal. And I was lucky enough to be on benefits at the time, because hearing aids are not cheap, let me tell you. And so at the time I said I want the top of the line, because it's very rare you find benefits with hearing aids. So I took advantage of it, and I was like, I want the best of the best. And these were kind of the ones they recommended. And they are amazing, don't get me wrong. I remember the first day I got them, I went to get a smoothie, and the same place I always go to, and I'm standing in there, and it's like all of a sudden there's a smoothie machine. It's like making all this crazy noise, and then there's somebody there's like a car honking outside, and there's like somebody talking out, yelling on the street, and there's like so much different noises that I'd never heard before, and it was like so crazy. So they are amazing hearing aids, but what made me mad was that they didn't have this option to do the Bluetooth, because it just seems like, because they were so good, that they should have the option. Because I was so pissed off, my audiologist like gifted me with another one of these, which is actually a TV connector, and they came with my hearing aids. And actually I can't remember, I probably paid extra for them because everything's expensive. And by the way, these were close to 10 grand, my hearing aids, which is like a fucking mortgage payment. So TV connector, you have to connect it to a power, of course. You can't just use it without power. So this is amazing. Like, through the TV, it's like the best hearing I've ever had my whole life. Like, if I could have this all day, it would be like, hopefully someday I can. I don't know why that is, but for some reason with this connected to TV, it's just such good quality. So I thought it would be with a stethoscope. And I had a smaller power bar. I had this little tiny pink one, of course, and it fit so perfectly in my scrub pocket, and then I didn't have to have a headpiece. It just went to my hearing aids. But I was using it the one day, and so you have to turn this power on, then you have to turn the power on the power bar. And then you have to turn the power on a stethoscope. So it's 3 things you have to power on. And so anyway, I was using it and it just died. Like, I'd be trying to take somebody's vitals and it would just stop working. It's like, obviously that's not good. So I bought this one, which had better ratings. Power it on. Power this one on. Then you connect this, you power it on. And it works. It works pretty good. But like, how practical is that, right? I just remember I was doing my OB rotation and I had all this stuff like stuffed in my pocket. She's like, do you want to listen to the baby's heart rate? And I'm like, yeah. Just give me a minute. Plug this in, plug this in, plug this in, and then I'm sitting there like, this is so ridiculous, right? Like, I usually tried to have it already plugged in if I knew I would be doing a lot of vitals, but I didn't really know. I hadn't done much on. I should have been more prepared. But either way, it just doesn't make sense, because there's too many things to connect. There's too many options to fail. Like, this could fail, this could fail. Like, the cord could fuck up. Like, it's not at all practical. It might be nice at home or something, but it's not practical for actually being out in the workplace. Because if it fails and you don't have a backup, it's not going to be anyone else's fault but my own. So anyway, I found my Skull Candy headphones from 15 to 20 years ago. And they were $15 at the time, and like, look at this. They are falling apart. This white stuff is like, it flakes off. So I thought it was kind of funny. I plugged it into my stethoscope. I don't know why I plugged it in. Just thought I would try it, and it actually works really good. So I was pretty amazed by that. But I was like, you know what? If these are that old and they weren't that good, let me try to buy new ones that are just as cheap. So I bought these, and they are $22 on Amazon. And they're alien headphones. They're actually child's headphones, which is funny, but they fit my head. Like, they're cute, they're pink, and they're black, and I don't feel too embarrassed wearing them. Yeah, your head's small enough, you can wear child's headphones. There's nobody saying that you can't. And they work amazing. Like, they work just as good as these, but the cool thing is the bass is higher. It's like I can like feel the heart rate in my ear. So anyway, if you're thinking of going to school for nursing and you have hearing loss, I highly recommend. There's several options for amplified stethoscopes. get this one. And then instead of, don't worry about the $500 headphones, there you go. Buy one of those.